Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing great. I'm Kirti Sophia Ponachan, and in today's session we'll be learning about electronic media. Mass media that use electronic or electromechanical energy for transmission of messages are called electronic media. Major electronic media are radio, television, video and audio records, CDs, DVDs, etc. Of these, radio and television messages are transmitted via air waves or radio signals. The process of transmitting messages via radio waves or signals is called broadcasting. The literary meaning of broadcasting is to scatter seed over a broad area rather than in particular place. Possibly because of the ability to spread messages to diverse audiences through radio waves, the technique is called broadcasting. Now let's look into the major broadcasting media. The first one is telephone broadcasting. It existed between 1881 and 1932 and it is considered the earliest form of electronic broadcasting. The second one is radio broadcasting. It started experimentally in 1906 and commercially in 1920. It is the mechanism of transmitting audio through the air as radio waves from a transmitter to an antenna and thus to a receiving device. Stations can be linked in radio networks to broadcast common programming either in syndication or simulcast or both. In this, the broadcast syndication means where an individual station buys programs from outside network system, and the word simulcast means a simultaneous transmission of the same program on radio and television or on two or more channels. The third one is television broadcasting. It's also known as telecast. It started experimentally in 1925 and it was commercially established in the 1930s. This technology of airing video revolutionized the modern communication system. Moving on to the fourth point, that is cable media. Cable radio started in 1928 and cable television began in 1932. They are the components of cable media. That is, cable radio and cable television are the components of cable media. In both, messages are transmitted via coaxial cable, serving principally as transmission mediums for programming produced at either radio or television stations with limited production of cable dedicated programming. Moving on to the fifth point, satellite television. It started from 1974 while satellite radio started from 1990. Satellite television was meant for direct-to-home broadcast programming and it provides a mix of traditional radio or television broadcast programming or both with satellite dedicated programming. Moving on to the sixth point, webcasting of video or television. It began in 1993 and audio radio webcasting was from 1994. It offers a mix of traditional radio and television station broadcast programming with internet dedicated webcast programming. The original method of transmitting television or radio signals using radio waves is increasingly being replaced by higher quality digital broadcasting, transmitted in a digital data stream. By definition, digital broadcasting is an advanced system of broadcasting radio or television in digital pulses rather than waves, and which gives improved quality and more channels of content. There are currently two quality levels in television. The first one is standard definition, that is SDTV, and the second one is high definition, HDTV. Transmitted in binary format, digital television produces good quality pictures and digital radio offers high sound quality. So now let us have a glance on the technology behind major electronic media, that is radio and television, and we'll begin with radio. Yes, moving on. Let's see the origin and growth of radio. Samuel Morse's invention of telegraph in 1842 prompted scientists to find out ways to transmit messages over air. In 1895, Italian inventor Guglielmo Marconi succeeded in the effort. For further development of the mechanism, he started the Marconi Company in England and started commercial production of radio transmitters for military purpose. Marconi's device was sophisticated by Reginald Fessenden and started transmission of sound over radio transmitters instead of textual signals. It was US inventor Lee De Forest who made radio transmission much cleaner with his audium vacuum tube. He also envisaged stations sending continuous music, news, and other programs over radio waves. The idea came to be known as broadcasting. The first radio stations were set up in Pittsburgh, New York, and Chicago in the 1920s. Following the USA, European countries also started radio stations for broadcasting news and entertainment content. The colonial powers like Britain and France set radio stations in Asian and African countries in the early years of 20th century. Moving on, radio broadcasting. Radio is everywhere as the signals reach every nook and corner. It is a wonder to hear that there are 6.6 radio receivers on average in American homes. Indian Officer Radio Broadcaster says All India Radio reaches 98.25% of the population in India. Remember that India is the second largest populated country in the world. According to an estimate, there are 111 million radio sets in Indian households. John Vivian once said about radio that People wake up with clock radios, jog with headset radios, party with boom boxes, and commute with car radios. People listen to sports events on radio even if they are in the stadium. According to Arbitron, a company that surveys radio listenership, more people receive their morning news from radio than from any other medium. That's something that they found out. So that's all for today. I hope today's session was fruitful for you all. If you enjoyed listening to this video, give it a big thumbs up and do share it with your friends who love to learn. Once again, thank you so much.